So this morning, I wake up and I just spent probably a good 20 to 30 minutes just crying. And the grief that I feel in my heart today is pretty intense. And I want to just use the platform that I have created here to speak some truth over the collective. As someone that holds the energy of hope for the collective and has communication with the beings beyond our human comprehension, speaking with with the spirit team, not mine, they don't belong to me, speaking with the wisdom keepers, who are a collective consciousness of very divine high frequency beings. And just yesterday, well, the last few weeks, I've been feeling this new energy wanting to come through. And I have been feeling this like collective shift in my energetic connection of more and more beings wanting to come through. And I've been trying to figure out who is wanting to come through. I have been having some Pleiadians come through. And then last night, the Andromedans came through. And when I started to connect with the Andromedans, something in me opened up, something shifted for me, and I had more of an awareness of where humanity is heading and where we have been and where we are now. And as someone that lives in the very center of the United States, as the collective collapse happens in the energetic field, I feel intensely the grief of everyone and the heaviness that comes towards this part of the country is sometimes a lot to hold. And it's interesting because when I go travel around, I can feel a shift in my energy of what it feels like to leave this part of the country and go to other parts of the country. But slowly, what I'm seeing taking place is not slowly, that's a bad word, is that this heaviness isn't just in dense areas. It's kind of a collective heaviness. And I was thinking this morning, how do I put into actual words, because I'm not great at words. If you read my books, I'm much better at writing. How do I put into words what it feels like to be someone that both sees the shift in a higher dimensional way and experiences the human part of it? And it's this really difficult balance between holding the hope and energy I receive from the higher dimensions and being a human and experiencing it. And my spirit team, sorry, my spirit team continues to come to me and just keeps reminding me, like, this is temporary, hold your hope. This is temporary, hold your hope. But some days it's harder to do that. And today, for some reason, it's just one of those days. So I'm just coming before you super raw and sharing with you the thoughts that I have. Now, I've talked to a lot of spiritual healers and teachers and people in the, kind of the limelight that are getting the same collective message that we are in a huge shift. And, I am seeing the same things. And so I believe that this is true. But then there's a part of me, the human part of me, that thinks, how long has humanity been saying things like this? How long have we been saying, there's going to be an earthquake in this place, or there's going to be a shift in this place, something's going to happen. And yet we just wait. And then I even think back into my religious days, like where there was so much communication about, the rapture and the second coming and the end times and like all that stuff. And everybody's preparing for this sudden shift that things are going to get better. And as I continue to tune in and awaken into my own truth, into the truth of what spirit, the teams I work with tell me, is the reality is we are the shift. The shift isn't going to happen until we do. And this is the hard part, is being able to hold that vantage point of knowing that we have this internal power to make things happen in this world, yet we have so much emotion and feeling and collective awareness about the suffering of humanity as a whole. And, as someone that has lived in America my whole life, I have traveled outside of the US several times and I've seen other cultures, and I have a perspective I feel like that is much bigger than what maybe someone from a small town might have that's never left their four walls or traveled outside of the country. And so I have this global perspective of humanity is humanity. There's no difference between a Kansas girl and an Asian woman living in a village. Like, we're all here having a human experience. And when we realize that there's a collectiveness about this, we're all one consciousness, we stop looking at something as this is happening to them, and we look at it as this is happening to us. And when you come back into the collective energy of what spirit sees, and when you hear me even channeling, spirit never says I. When you talk to a spirit guide or to our spirit team, they don't say I, they say we. Because they understand that everything is one consciousness, everything's one energy. And when we hold energy together, it shifts things. And so I guess my desire in making this video today is to remind you that you are more important than ever right now. You have to understand the energy you hold within you, what you portray into the world, how you share that does matter. And is so difficult because I wrote this on my Facebook this morning. So if you follow me on Facebook, you saw this. Let me even just pull this up. I will share with you what I said here. And I even added it to my YouTube, so you might see it on here too. But I said, there are moments when I don't know what to say or what to share to help, other than returning to the truth that this is temporary and that a better day is coming for humanity. And sometimes that feels foolish. It feels foolish to say when so many are hurting. It feels foolish to say just shift your focus and a new reality will manifest. And at times it even feels selfish to say that. But as someone that tunes in the spirit, and I have a perspective of what the divine sees, I can't give up hope because they continue to remind me that that is what's going to bring us through this. And, I don't believe the Bible has everything right. I believe it's been manipulated. If you've listened to a couple of my other videos, the elite, the people in power have purposely rewritten the Bible to take the power away from the people. But they forgot to take out a couple things in there that actually will ring true for what we need to do right now. And this is one of those verses that are in there. And I can share where this is in the Bible if you want to look it up yourself. But it says, finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there's any virtue and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. This is your reminder that you are powerful, and we are powerful. And it's okay to have moments like this. Let it out, but then come back to this power. And this is your reminder. If you need that reminder, then save this video and come back to it over and over, because we need you. We need you more than ever right now.